In this video, we're going to take a look at a simple formula that tells you how to find the derivative of an inverse function at a specific x value. So just some refreshing. If I have two functions, let's call them f and g. We say that they are inverse functions. If for all the x values in their domains, you get the composition either way gives you just x. So f of g of x would be the same as g of f of x, which either way you do it gives you just plain old x. It doesn't give you a 2. It doesn't give you an x over 5. It just gives you x. So let's take a look at that equation right there. And let's just take a look at one case here, or a simple version. Let's just look at f of g of x is going to give us x. Now, if I take a look at this and I apply the derivative to both sides with respect to x, so d dx, on the right-hand side, seems pretty simple. On the left-hand side, this is really just a case of the chain rule. So this is going to be f prime of g of x times g prime of x. The right side is just a 1. So if I take this and I divide both sides by f prime of g of x, it tells me that g prime of x is 1 over f prime of g of x. And one thing to keep in mind from the beginning, f and g are inverse functions. One way to maybe express that would be to say that g is the same as f inverse of x. So if I replace g with f inverse, it looks like f inverse prime of x is the same as 1 over f prime of f inverse of x. Now, you might be really tempted on the right-hand side of that equation to undo, quote unquote, the f with f inverse and just put an x. Can't quite do that because it is f prime of f inverse of x. So how are you going to see questions involving this formula? Basically, they'll either give you a function and ask to find the derivative of the inverse at a certain point. We might need to figure out what x value that might be, or they might just give you a chart. Like we've seen before with limits and integrals and second fundamental theorem and all that stuff, where you kind of just match things together and you plug into this formula. We'll do a whole lot of that in class next time, but for now, this is really what I wanted you all to get from this, is how we come up with this formula. That should do it, and you should have plenty of info to do those questions on Schoology.